All right, let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? You are to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad back in effect with me. Porsche. It seems like it's been weeks, months.
I know. I missed you guys so much. I'm so glad to be back. How is everybody?
I don't know what it's been.
Love to be here.
Cool.
Everything is great. JR, the R&B rep. I feel like I ain't seen you for 2 weeks too.
I know, man. It feels.
I think Cancun threw everything off. And then everybody was just busy. So
hopefully you was resting.
I was resting, nigga. You saw the pictures. I was. Well, you know what?
I'm making sure because you was sending 8-minute videos on Twitter.
Let's say this. T fell off the jet skis. Well, me and T fell off the jet skis. Okay, I was fine. I can't swim, but I believe in life vests, so I was good in the middle of the ocean. You know. So other than that, we was chilling. Great time. Much rested. Great. The best part about it was, like I said in the video, I said being able to make a life that you don't have to escape from. You know, in the past, that's what vacations was. It was like, I hate my life. I don't want to go back. This time, I like day 4 or 5, I was like, we can wrap this shit up. Like, I'm good. Like, I got the rest I needed. I can get back. So to me, that's the bigger blessing is that life is finally the way,
sure.
You know, supposed to be. Vern, you haven't been on for 2 weeks. What's going on, good brother? You
Man, good? I'm good. I'm good, bro. Good money, as you say.
Who's on your shirt? I can't see it.
That is John Collins jamming on Joel Embiid.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
You asked.
I didn't even know. It looked like Gian. It looked like a Bucks uniform. I couldn't see nothing, so neither here nor there. Whatever. Okay, Eddie, what's going on, good brother?
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Don't worry, I'm not taking any subliminals with my shirt. You know.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Black Star. Rel, what's good? Philadelphia representative.
What's good? Happy to be here. Vern, that's an offensive foul, number 1.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, damn, this the shirt you choose to wear tonight? Like,
man, it came in the mail today, man.
I seen John Collins wearing it, so yeah, that was fire. Right,
so Apartment 5B sponsored by. So what's the scenario game? Cop this joint. We got to get another app going on. JR, you're the champ, and what is JR and Eddie and Porsche? I think it's like y'all.
I won one too. Yeah, I got one too.
Bro, have you won yet?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
So it's just me and you.
Yeah.
So it's just the Philadelphia crew.
Keep trusting the process, man.
It's fitting. It's fitting that we ain't won.
You just on the roll tonight. You just gonna keep it going. Okay. Cool. So order this at SoWhatGames.com. Use promo code Apartment5B. It's a dope game, fun game. Trust me, you will get into more arguments playing this game than you will at the barbershop, anywhere else that you debate hip hop. Bet, trust that. Porsche, this week is your topic. Take us away, miss.
So we're at the midway point of the year-ish. And so I thought it would be a good time to go through our top 5 favorite albums that have dropped so far this year, and any like slept on joints we think dropped, and maybe like a disappointing album, something that you thought was going to be so dope when you heard that it was going to drop, and then you listened to it and it was a complete bust, or it just didn't, hold up. And we'll just go from there.
All right. The only other 2 things I want to throw into the mix too is the wish of wanting more. And I'll get into that later, but the whole wish of wanting more, and then quality versus quantity. Yes. Because I think that is something that has taken over music. Everyone who I talk to about says because of streaming, but there's quality over quantity. So, Porsche, why don't you set us off? What's one of your top 5 albums so far this year, and why?
Okay, I think this is probably going to be on everybody's list, so I apologize that I'm taking it, but it's Skyzoo's All the Brilliant Things. And for me, I just think Skyzoo is one of those rappers who, for some, like he doesn't miss. He's so consistent. He's always rapping at a very high level. His albums are all so cohesive, coherent. The sequencing is on point. Conceptually, it's amazing. I love the album art on all his albums. I just think, Skyzoo, All the Brilliant Things, and the ones I love are Bodega Flowers and St. James Liquor. Is it called? Yeah,
St. James Liquors,
St.
yeah.
James Liquors. Those are my favorite joints on there. And again, I just think like cohesive storytelling, like he just raps very well. I love the delivery, I love the flow, and it's such an enjoyable album to the point where I was having a hard time listening to other albums because this one kind of took over my rotation. Like I was just going through it and then it would finish and I would just like run it back from the top, you know? So yeah, Skyzoo all the way. My number one.
That's your number one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, y'all. And then I don't know what it is, but Skyzoo does not do it for me.
What?
And I always feel
Wait, what?
I always feel like I'm missing out because everybody fucking loves Skyzoo. And I think what I've realized is a combination of two things. I've never been in love with his production. So I don't even think it's a Skyzoo side of things. Like the Pete joint, Retropolitan, 5 mics to me. Love it to death. That's why I was so hyped for that. But like even with this album, I press play and I hear the what was it, the joint that Madlib and Dilla used. Like I just feel like he reuses so many beats so many times. So it just from the door I hit play and I'm just like, okay, whose beat are you using this time? And I get it. I know I'm the odd man out. It's just one of those things where it's just like I wish I liked it because everybody likes it. It's like that restaurant that everybody wants to go to for happy hour. And Buffalo Wild Wings, prime example. I hate their food.
Yeah,
Despise it. It's the worst ever.
Yeah,
but mad niggas always want to go to the game, there to watch the games. I'm like, yo, their food is horrible. And I'm not saying so. If anybody watching at home, because Vern, thanks to your tweet of, Nicole connecting you, and it's like, oh, Vern from Apartment 5B. I always say I get caught up there. It's not the 6 of us talking, that other people are watching. And we know how Twitter is. On Monday, it'll be Kill says Skyzoo's the wackest MC ever. Yeah. I think Skyzoo is a phenomenal MC. It's just that for some reason, I guess the beat. I just give it to the Beast because Retropolitan.
So how many mics would you give this album?
I haven't even really gotten through it. To be
Holy moly, man! I have it at a solid 4, and I think if as time passes, it'll be like a 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, everything that you said about Sky, I love. The joint he did with Milestones, talking about. I feel like he tackles incredible topics. It's to the point like it's like Sky said, Bed-Stuy is burning. He got that from a book. I went out to buy the book. So again, it's nothing against Sky. It's just something about all of his albums. Like there are always songs I enjoy on them, but just as a whole body of work outside of Retropolitan, I don't love, which to me is because of the beats, because Sky is going to do Sky. Like Sky to me is an MC like Talib Kweli. You either love him or you hate him because he's gonna do that. So there's not too many people who are like, oh, I like that Talib album, but you either like Talib or you don't. And I think that's how it is with Sky. So but salute to the album because I feel like he tackles, and this is what I'm always telling people. It ain't even about if I like it or not. I think Sky is an amazing MC. He makes the type of hip hop that I love. He makes the type of hip hop that we all love. So even though I don't personally like it per se as a fan, I'll always buy a Sky album, similar to what I do for the Roots, just because I love what he represents. So it even goes past what I enjoy. It's just, he's a piece of the culture, so I gotta support him. It's just one of those things like I wish I could get into it the way everybody else does. It feels like everybody's at the party and I couldn't go. Like that's what it feels like in high school when everybody got invited to the party, you got invited, but it starts at 11 and your mom's like, hell no, you can't go. That's what this feels like, Wow. So, but I hear nothing but great things about the album, but I wish I could go because I just can't. The first joint I got up is this joint. I don't even know if these are in any order. 21 Grams by Pete Rock and Amir. Like
that's on my list too.
Number one, it just came out of nowhere. It just literally like Porsche. I don't know if I saw you tweet about it or somebody tweeted about it. And I was just like, yo, where did this come from? And that's an album that I have not stopped listening to ever since. I love the mixtape feel of it because some of them are like original Pete beats. Other times he's just rhyming over outstanding. Pete just looped that up and he's rhyming over it, but the scratches on it, the breaks, it just feels like a mixtape. I love it. I don't even think it's on streaming services.
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud. It's on SoundCloud.
Every time I tell somebody about it, and probably my favorite joint on there is this joint called Better. And he just uses Shaka's Ain't Nobody. I mean, Pete, didn't flip it. He didn't chop it up into a million pieces. He literally just filtered it out, and there's some auto-tune singing on it. And to me, this is like a great example to me of how you can make hip hop. That's, I guess, you're trying to make it relevant for now with the auto-tune singing, but I just love it. So that's my favorite joint on there. It's like 19 songs on there. So for somebody saying kill, but you hate shit over 12, most of the songs are only 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Because it's really that mixtape feel of it. It's not 19 3-minute 3-verse songs. And I just think it's a dope intro to this boy Amir. I've never heard of him before. Had to like Google and YouTube and find interviews of him and Pete. He's from the Vernon. You know what I mean? And so everything like that. But that is my joint right there. Pete Rock and Amir's 21 gram mixtape. JR, which one for you, man?
Mine is Carmen Rogers.
Yeah.
Hello Human, Volume 1. If you just love good R&B music, that is the album to go to. EP, album, whatever the hell it's called.
Now, what's it called?
It's called Hello Human, Volume 1.
Hello Human. All right.
Yeah, and it's just a good R&B album, like from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? She starts it with Beauty, which is kind of like a interlude, and she ends it with Say So, which she's getting her Layla half the way on. Like, this album is dope. She got with his name is Donis Cook, who is a background singer for Jill Scott, and he did a lot of her production on it. But if you just love good R&B, this would be the one. I play this album at least once a week.
Yeah, man.
So it's my favorite album so far, like, period.
Is this the shorty who's down with Fonte?
Yeah, Foreign Exchange. She's in the
Foreign Exchange crew. Yeah, she's down with that. Foreign Exchange is all over my list. But yeah, Carmen Rogers, I would definitely recommend y'all check it out. It's 5 songs, not long. You know what I mean? People ain't doing long albums these days. So,
right. Let me ask you a question. Maybe I should have asked this in the beginning before we got started. What kind of year do y'all think this has been so far?
Musically?
Because when I'm on the timeline, sometimes I feel like people believe like this is 1994, like we getting Into the Woo and Midnight Marauders, where it feels like people are like, it's been an incredible year for hip hop, and I'm just like,
no, it hasn't.
We just have two different definitions of the word incredible.
No, it hasn't.
Just Porsche, what do you think of this year? Do you think it's been a good year, great
No,
year?
I don't think it's been. I certainly don't think it's been a great year. But I'm with you. I see that a lot where people are like, oh man, this is the year for hip hop and all this kind of stuff. I don't know what they're basing that on. And I don't know if that's something that's based on like 2 or 3 albums that have dropped and that's just kind of taken over the year already. And the upcoming albums don't sound good apart from like maybe a handful of them. So yeah, for me, I think it's pretty, you got to sift through a lot of.
If we do this like the mic system, if we do it like this, 5 being classic, 4 being dope, 3 being good, 2 being aight, 1 being blah, like how many mics would you give?
I give the year so far 2 mics, if that.
Okay.
1.5.
Yeah, and the reason for that is I think it's just, again, I think you're going to touch on it when we talk about quantity and quality, but I think that it's just so bombarded with material, and you have to really sift through to see what's good and really like pay attention to what you're going to spend your time listening to. Like, for me, it's not a dope year, and it's a struggle, honestly, to even get through some of the joints that people are calling like 5 mic classics. So.
JR, what about you? How many mics we give in 2021 so far?
See, I've been doing shit. I've been going through this for like 10 years now. So I don't expect anything. I'm not expecting a 5 mic year, to be honest with you. So right now, I will give it, at least for R&B, I'll actually give it a 3.5. It's not too bad. It's not too bad for R&B for real.
You're talking about from R&B perspective.
Yeah. Now, hip hop, I agree. I agree with y'all because I don't know who the hell talking about some good shit out. Like, no. But yeah, for R&B, I give it a 3.5.
All right. What about you, Vern?
1.5 hip hop. I mean, I think we don't get great albums. You know, you get us. I mean, you're gonna talk about it. I think quality over quantity, and it's suffering.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, how many mics you giving us?
Yeah, overall, I think I agree with 2 mics, and You know, I think you know, there's some under the radar albums that are way better than some of these major releases that I'm gonna get to when I do my list. You know, if you talk about underground, independent, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know if it's the hunger or what, but it's just been a lot of okay, that's cool. That it may sound dope in the first listen, but then it doesn't beg for replay value.
Okay. All right. And Rel, what about you?
1.5 or 2. Like trying to even get 5 Jones from this year.
Exactly.
That was a struggle, man. It really was. That's why, like, I'm taking notes from some of the stuff y'all saying.
Me too.
That if it's not on my list, then I can go listen to it. So I have something new to listen to. Because, to be honest, like, stuff I've been listening to, besides the Jones that's on my list, has been, you know, older stuff.
Right.
This is not. I don't know who said it's been a good year, but they are tripping. Like, it has not been a good year musically, in my opinion. And I agree with Eddie. Like, it's some artists like that I probably hadn't heard of that people put me on to, or like some independent stuff that's been holding my attention more than some of the releases that's been from mainstream artists. So,
right,
1.5, 2 for me.
All right, and I'm at 2. It's been you know, and that's for hip hop and R&B. We talking about hip hop. I'm probably at 1 mic, you know, so yeah, it's been dry. Ruben, one of my peoples on Twitter, was like, "Yo, Kill, want to get your top 10?" And you know, I'm like, "Shit." I was just naming shits. Like after 3, like it was like, because for everybody watching, for me, defining from at least for my list is stuff I listen to over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't get the 5, then I'll just give you 3. Like you know, it was like, yo, you know, Ruben was showing love, so it was like, all right, let me show love, you know, to albums that have dropped that I've listened to and I enjoy, but maybe not I'm coming back to all the time. You know what I mean? Again, I think we're all up here are music heads, so there's not a day that goes by that I'm not listening to music throughout the whole day. Music on the way to work, music while I'm working out, music while I'm at work, music while I'm doing work, music. So music is just always playing. So that, you know, that's how I'm defining what's on this list. Vern, what's one of the joints that you did come up with?
Yeah, so one thing I'll never be on this show is disingenuous, because you know, some cats. I'm not just gonna write names on here, and I can't even tell you everything on the album. So it was really a struggle. JR had one that I had. Hello Human is one, but my favorite album so far this year, man, is that freaking Hiatus Coyote Move Valiant. Man, that album is stupid, bro.
We're gonna start right here. What is the name of the group?
Hiatus Coyote. That's the name of the group. Yeah, right. I've talked about them before.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, have you mentioned a drop like last year, maybe, or 2 years ago?
Yeah. Their albums are ridiculous. This new album came out like the 24th. It's Aboriginal Australian mothership funk. I mean, it's just crazy, man. And Nai Palm, the lead singer, she just floats on tracks. And like being a musician, I play drums. I ain't no musician, but the rhythms and the funk and the bass and the patterns and stuff they do are crazy, man. It have you like holding your head, like how did they think?
What's the name of this album? What's the name of this joint?
Mood Valiant, Valiant. Listen, my favorite tracks are Chivalry Is Not Dead. Me and Neltron was talking. He called me, and we talked about this album for like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Chivalry Is Not Dead is one. Let me see. Red Room, that was their first release. And then I'm gonna say All the Words We Don't Say. It's just crazy. Their beat flips are like hip hop stuff. It's crazy. So yeah,
this thing right here, this joint.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, listen to Chivalry Is Not Dead. And Kill, you may not understand everything they saying. Put yourself like you listening to a D'Angelo.
I listen. I was just about to say I listen to D'Angelo.
D'Angelo Vanguard. Yeah.
I don't need to know.
And that's how Vern told me to listen to it too.
Yeah. So Hiatus Coyote for real.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what you got for one of yours?
All right. Let me go. I'm gonna go reverse order. Let's see. I'll do Apollo Brown and Raheem Devon album "Lovesick."
That was gonna be underrated. Oh,
That's my one R&B album. I just because here's the thing, man. Like Apollo Brown does so much with hip hop with hip hop artists that sometimes you get a little burnt out. But him and Raheem Devon working together, I felt like it felt fresh to me. It felt dope. Like those songs, like I think maybe Apollo needs to go a little bit more into that lane a little bit because sometimes his production, like he uses the same elements in his production is sometimes my problem with him. Like it's like you already know what to expect in some way, shape, or form, but I like Raheem Devon. I over them beats. I like the songs. I like the variety of it. Yeah, it's really dope.
All right, no doubt. I need to check that out. I've been still stuck on Raheem's last album that dropped like in 2020, like in December. I still play that all the time.
What a Time to Be in Love.
Yeah, What a Time. I love that album, man. Incredible album. But yeah, but it's funny that you said that. Apollo Brown has never been one of my favorite producers, kind of because of everything that you just said. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I didn't run, because usually anything Raheem's name is on, I run to. You know what I'm saying? If this was Raheem and Knots, I would have listened to that shit. I would have found a way to get it before it came out, but Raheem and Apollo Brown, like that's one of those things you see a new restaurant around your way. You're like, yeah, we'll try it one day. You know what I mean? Versus it just being like, oh, I gotta eat there right now today. But that's dope to hear. That is good. That's dope to hear. That's dope. Bro, what you got for one of yours, bro?
My first John is the same as Porsche's. It's a Sky Zoo album. It was just refreshing to hear for me. Just with the stuff that's coming out now, like this was kind of just different to me. You know what I'm saying? Just solid rapping through the whole John. Sequence good, subject matter, and I always, what I'm saying, take a liking to people that stick to themselves, stay true to themselves, and I think that's what he does. And this is a good album, man. But Bodega Flowers, I used to be a trap. I should have been a trap rapper. I think is the name of it. And Soft Eyes, the last song, it's solid, man. It's real good. It's like a strong 4 for me, and it kind of like sticks out to me in comparison to some of the other stuff that's been released this year. Like this is a breath of fresh air to me. So that's what I'm rocking with.
One of the things I've learned I gotta stop doing is getting out of my listening to music just as a fan and not being in my producer bag. So like when you said the joint with I should have been a trap rapper, like I hit play on that and then I hear Nautilus and I'm like,
Nautilus
again. Like and that's the problem. That's my problem. And I'm not hearing good hip hop just based off of, the producer and me being like, really? Just Nautilus.
I really like this. Drums. His lyrics on that song was
right, but that's what I need to move past, because it was one of Game's albums. I think it was maybe Documentary too, where everything he was just like rhyming over beats. He had a joint with the Biggie Kicking the Door sample. He was rhyming over On and On, Erykah Badu joint. I forgot what Game joint it was, but I think you
about the 1992.
It may have been. Hold on, I know I got it.
Or Documentary at 2.5 or something.
It was, hold on, Game. But the moral to the story was I had to move out. I had to get out of my production bag to be able to enjoy that album. It was the Documentary too, this joint.
Yeah.
Because he had the joint On Me with Kendrick, which was On and On. He had Step Up. Like every song was like, so I just had to get over it. So yeah, I'm going to listen back to the Sky Zoo. I'm going to listen to this Hiatus Coyote, then get back to the Sky Zoo and try to get past the, because as soon as I heard all this, I was like, skip. I don't even like keep it moving. You know, and again, it's just the producer in me. You know, it's just like, oh, like if you're gonna use Nautilus, you gotta flip that shit. Do something to it that somebody else hasn't done already. You know, but again,
so many times.
That's the producer.
A billion times, yeah.
You know, so that was just like it, and I got to get past that. Porsche, what's another joint that you got?
Another one I got is RJ Payne's Leatherface 3. You guys all know, I think the whole wide world knows that RJ's like my favorite MC right now. And Leatherface 3, listen, RJ Payne does like horror rap perfectly. Like that is his lane. That is his bag. He is in the pocket. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. This guy just delivers so well on these concepts with the production, with the features, with everything that he does. Like, he just is. I know some people were I saw on the timeline, people were like, yeah, but RJ Payne raps like a battle rapper. I love that about him personally. So for me, that delivery, that aggression, that that passion, that hunger, like you could hear all of it. And then mixed in with, like, he makes sort of, when he does these like horror sort of audio albums, it's literally like you're listening to it and you can see some sort of horror movie happen in your mind if you really just let yourself like immerse yourself in the music. So for me, RJ Payne is another one, kind of like Skyzoo. Like, he has concepts, he executes them very, very well. And I just love I just love it. I love the way he rolled out this album with all the features and the way he posted each rapper that was featured on the tracks on his Instagram. So, it kind of drew the attention. And then, I mean, it didn't disappoint at all. That's definitely my second favorite.
Well, RJ Payne was a battle rapper.
I know.
He was Rain Man for a while, yeah. And
I know that personally, but a lot of people are like, nah, but he does studio, like he does his albums like a battle rapper, and I'm like, that's his bag. Like, he knows that. So yeah.
I'm really glad that he was able to turn his career into what it is, because he was just a battle rapper at one point, and he's like official now. I like it.
Yeah, it's funny. It just kind of goes to show, because again, we don't know how it would have went, but sometimes how the cosign goes. Because the first time I heard of RJ Payne was on Benny's Plugs I Met. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of people were the first time. I had no idea about Rain Man, nothing about. I've never been into that battle rap scene, so I had no idea. So it's just crazy how that right cosign can put you in a position. Then it didn't even work out between Griselda and them. You know what I mean? Or Benny and them, whose ever crew it was or whatever like that. But so yeah, I love seeing Payne win. Philly representative, hell, gave me a placement on one of his joints. So ain't nothing but love for Payne. The next joint I got is y'all, I can't speak Spanish. I was in Cancun the whole time.
La Maquina.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not even gonna try. All the time in Cancun, TNA speaking Spanish to people, and I'm just like, then I'd be like, hola, and then they want to start speaking Spanish to me. I'm like, nah, my fault, my bad. I'm gonna just say hi and just keep it moving, because I've tricked you into believing that I know what I'm talking about, and I know nothing about Spanish. So yes, La Maquina. I can't make it sound cool like y'all do, but La Maquina, Conway the Machine. Everybody knows Conway is one of my favorite MCs on the planet Earth. Love the album. He's one of Griselda is one of those crews that we will get into this more about quality versus quantity. And I think, I really do love this album. I just sometimes wish, like, I feel like when you're putting out so much, it kind of takes away from the greatness that
yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those things where it's just like, this album is great, but I just feel like I miss those days of being in the studio and you recording 30 songs and then picking the top 12 that make it. And that's what used to happen. That's why we used to get all these soundtrack songs that we love, because it was like, we recorded 20 songs for Midnight Marauders. Here were the 14 that made it. We got 6 that are still dope, but maybe didn't fit the concept or didn't fit the time. So we'll throw Hot Sex over here for the Boomerang soundtrack, or we'll throw this over there for that. But now it's like, we recorded the first 12 songs we got. There's the album. You know what I mean? And you know what? That's also that's also how we're gonna play it. My brain is on E tonight, y'all. What am I talking about? The way the album is
sequence.
Thank you. yeah, it's almost just like I've been in the studio with people and just be like, yo, just put it in the order that we recorded. I'm like, nah, what are you talking?
No.
You just don't put an album just like we recorded this, you know. And I feel like a lot of times nowadays, people don't even take time to name their songs nothing. Like I can't sit here. I have to have my phone out to be like the 6:30 tip off. That's the name of one of these Conway songs. Like I'm not gonna remember that shit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna remember none of that. One of my favorite joints on here, and to be honest, this is a great example of what I'm talking about because I don't know it by the names. I literally gotta play this shit to be like, oh yeah, that's the one. I don't know. I like the whole album. Just listen to the whole album, but that's a testament of what I meant. Like you listen to Midnight Marauders and you're like, oh, lyrics go, War II, or you not like, oh, that song where the girl is talking like the tour guide before and then the beat coming. That's how I feel like I talk about music nowadays. Like I love the Leatherface joint. Can't name you one song off of it. Can't name you one. You know what I mean? And I don't, and that may be because we're on our phones, you know, so it may be like when you had the CD back in college, you're looking at the CD while you're listening to it. And I know now when I listen to music, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm listening to music, doing something else. So maybe that's why I can't do it. But yeah, so the Conway joint is dope. What'd you say, bro? You
just answered the question right there, bro. For the most part, new music is background music. Yeah. We do it while we're doing something else. Yeah. It doesn't have your undivided attention.
Right. And again, like I said, I like the Conway album. It's dope. It's just, I just sometimes think like, yo, if you made one album a year, I just think the bars could even be even tighter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they're fine the way they are, but I just feel like they could be even tighter. It's almost like Rakim said when he gets writer's block, he just goes out and lifts some more. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like if you're making 5 albums a year, what living are you doing in between? You're not doing anything to come back and write, you know, something that's amazing again. And it's, I feel like the generation we're living in now, it's all about skills, which is cool. But for me, I want content. You know what I mean? And it's hard to give good content with skill if you don't live. You know what I mean? It's hard to give them both. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they just want the skill. You know, it doesn't matter about anything else as long as the skill is there. But again, that's just me. Gerald, what's another one you got, good brother?
Where am I gonna go? I'm gonna go with Mac Ayres. His album is Magic 8 Ball. Mac Ayres, yeah.
Like a Mac Air book? Like
it's Mac and then AYRES.
Like okay. Roy Ayers.
All right, yeah. Mac Ayres. And then what's the album?
It's called Magic 8 Ball.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dope. He's really, he plays every instrument because he's inspired by Prince and D'Angelo. He loved them. You know what I mean? He's from Long Island. He's dope. Like I've been on him since like 2016 when he was on SoundCloud, and then now he got his deal and now he's on. But his first EP was Drive Slow. And it's very, if you're a D'Angelo and Prince fan, you'll understand it. Like you'll listen to it because how this generation say they like the vibe. Well, this is actually, he's actually a vibe, but the music is good. You know what I mean? Okay. And him playing all the instruments is dope. But 8 Ball is, Magic 8 Ball is so dope. Like I listen to that often too. My favorite off of it, I got 4 favorites to be honest, because the first one is Where You Going Tonight. It's like a dance joint. It's definitely kind of like 75-ish to like 79, but it's still got a little nice little swag to it. Nothing else. It's very trappish, but it's still it's a soul to it. Sunny and 62 is smooth. Like it's the musicality of the song is just dope, and that's how he opens the album. And then Never Let Me Go is a soulful record. Like it's soul. Like you can feel it. You know what I mean? And the dude plays every instrument. So he's dope. You know what I mean? And it's definitely, if you want to vibe and you want to have a glass of wine or something and chill with it, I would say go with Mac Ayres, Magic 8 Ball.
Let me ask you this too, and I'll be asking everybody this, at least for newer artists. How did you find out about him?
Well, before I brought Spotify, because I wasn't gonna buy it, to be honest with you. I wasn't gonna do the streaming thing. I wasn't with it. So I used to listen to SoundCloud Radio. That's when I was doing current R&B bangers. Like, I brought out some every week. So I would listen to the SoundCloud Radio, and I would hear something, and I'm like, oh, who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? And then I would go and research him and find his SoundCloud page, find his Automac page, and do all that. And that's how I found him and his EP Drive Slow. And from that point, then he came out with Something to Feel. He came out in 2018. Then in 2019, he came out with Juice Box, which Getaway is still one of my favorites.
So he's not a new dude. He's not a new boy.
No, he's not new, because he came out in 2014. That's when he started, but then he dropped out. Then he just did music completely. And then now, once he got the deal and all that, so now he's an artist now. You know what I mean? So that's how I found him on SoundCloud Radio.
And Vern, for you, Hiatus Coyote. How did you find them?
So Twitter. What, JR? This is the first time I got on Apartment 5B. So this had to be 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Layla Hathaway was ranting about some group from Australia, Hiatus Coyote.
That's how. Yep. Exactly.
Questlove was ranting about him, and somebody else. I was like, man, who are they talking about? Mm-hmm. And I heard that that album, because that was their second album. What's the name of that album? Choose Your Weapon. Choose Your Weapon.
Oh, right.
And I heard Breathing Underwater and Shaolin Mother Funk. Oh my goodness. Talking about some beat flips. I was hooked. And then I went back to their first album. Q-Tip got a verse on Nakamura. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But
they names on their albums is weird.
If they're Australian Aborigines, it's on some different stuff. But but that's how I found out about them. Twitter. Some of my favorite artists talking about them.
Mm-hmm. All right. No doubt. Dope. Vern, what's the next one that you got?
All right, Jay, I took one of mine, so I'm about to take one of his, I'm sure. Zoe and Tall Black Guy, Abstraction.
You are so bad. You're so bad. I should have went with that next. Damn it.
Zoe is from Foreign Exchange, and Tall Black Guy does a lot of remixes and stuff, so they connected together. My favorite songs, Talking to Myself by Be My Fiasco. That's the way you lead. That's the way you lead off an album.
Yes.
And Vern, what's the name of this album? What's the name of the album?
Abstractions, like the abstract poetic abstractions. Yeah. It got a song called Sightseeing, and it kind of runs down Detroit. I let my wife listen to it. She's like, "We need to go back. I need to go back home," because he's running down the street names and stuff like that.
Yes, he is.
And then The Ride, it's got Cy Smith, Black Milk, and Elzai on it. And then
now, Zoe, my rapper or a singer?
No, Zoe plays keys.
Zoe plays
the keys for the Foreign Exchange.
He's a musician.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tall Black Guy's a producer. So who's rapping or who's singing?
Nobody. He's getting people on these songs.
Zoe always has guests singing on his stuff. Like I said, Be My Fiasco is a singer. Sightseeing, Cy Smith on The Ride is Cy Smith, Black Milk, and Elzai. Cy sings and Black Milk and Elzai rhyme. And then my favorite next to Layla, Darian, Hold My Hand with Darian Brockington and Moose.
That's my favorite song of the year right now.
Floating on that mug. So yeah.
What? And then him and Fonte haven't been together in a minute.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Zoe and Tall Black Guy.
And it's called Abstractions.
And you said that song was called Hold My Hand?
That song was Hold My Hand. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's Fonte, Darren, and what's her name? Yes. Musina, yes.
But the joint with the joint with Black Milk and Elzai is called The Ride.
The Ride, yep.
All right. Bet. Eddie, what you got up next, man?
All right. So this is an album I know it's kind of an album that I'm probably the only one who likes it as much as I do, to be honest. It's 13, which is Pharoah Monch, Daru Jones, and Manny Machado. A Magnificent Day for an Exorcism. So I know, like I know I'm in the
Right,
minority.
it's just because that's going to be on my like most disappointed list. So it's just really funny. Anyways, we'll get to that.
And that's cool. I really appreciate it. The funny thing is when I heard they had a single that came out announcing that they were collaborating, called Palindrome, which is not on the album. And I think when I first heard the album, I was still stuck on that one song that I didn't kind of let the album kind of do its own thing. I didn't really give it its proper. But I mean, honestly, like the more I listen to it, I really enjoy it. I mean, I do feel like I gotta be in a mood because it's heavy subject matter and it is eclectic. It's not just straight hip hop. It's hip hop, is rock. It's kind of like an amalgamation of different genres. But I'm an eclectic person, so I do appreciate that. So yeah, I think it came out dope. I understand why people don't like it. I think if you're expecting a Pharoahe Monch album, you're expecting a hip hop album, you're expecting him rapping over beats. But I think if you're able to kind of take this album for what it is, which I think is why he didn't release it as Pharoahe Monch, he released it as a group name. I think, I mean, there's at least a few songs on the album that will speak to people. You know what I mean? Even if you don't appreciate the whole thing, there's going to be at least one or two songs on there that, as far as like his writing and the subject matter and what they're covering is some deep stuff.
No doubt. I think that's one of those albums because I like it. I actually even brought the vinyl that I'm still waiting on, and I pre-ordered it in January. And I was going through my emails one day like, yo, Fat Beats, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I ordered this in January. It's almost August. Like, they're like, yo, it's back ordered, and we didn't get the vinyl yet. Whoa. But I do agree with you, Eddie, that I think that a lot of people who I've talked to who don't like the album, it reminds me of Guru's Jazzmatazz. Like, if you would have caught Guru's Jazzmatazz expecting a Gangstar album, you would have been heavily disappointed. You know what I mean? But I also, I don't know if Pharoahe did enough to say, like, this is going to be a rock album. You know what I mean? Or, like you said, a mixture album. You know what I mean? And by Pharoahe being the hip-hop Sade, even me knowing that it was going to be rock, part of me was still hoping for somewhere up in here is gonna be some boom bap, just because nigga, I haven't heard from you for 5 fucking years. You know what I mean? So even though you tell me it's this, I'm still hoping that there's a piece of it, like almost what like 3000 with Love Below. Like at least he gave us the day in the life of Andre Benjamin. So yeah, if you didn't like Hey Ya and you didn't like Roses and all that other stuff, there's still that one track where he's just rhyming for 8 minutes. So I think that's it, because I do like the album, but like you said, it's definitely a certain taste to it. You know what I mean? It's like calamari. Some to get people, my peoples to get me to taste calamari, they're like, it's chicken kill. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm eating it. They're like, what you think about it? I'm like, oh, this shit is great. It's like, it's squid. Now I'm sick for the rest of my life. Like, I can't cool because I love it, but it always makes me sick. Like one time the bread came open, I actually saw the tentacle, and it was just like, I can't. So
Now the weird thing about that album though, like I kind of feel bad because probably to me the most upbeat song on the album is called The Magician. So I'll be like bobbing along to it like, yo, this groove is dope. But what he's talking about a school shooter in the kind of in the person of the school shooter. Like he's rapping it as if he was a school shooter, sharing kind of his experience. And he even like he gets taken out of the end, whatever. But so it's kind of like one of them songs where it's kind of like, damn, should I be like nodding that hard to this? You know what I mean?
I think that thing with me and Monch is it just shows me how incredibly busy I am, and I need to take more time, because Monch has always been, from the Organized Confusion days, this is not an album you can listen to while I'm tweeting or while I'm editing 5B or while I'm writing a script or I'm trying to do. And the crazy part is I just have not had I haven't had enough time to just sit there and listen to this album. You know, and that's what you have to do with Pharoahe Monch, period. But you really have to try to listen to it, this album. And that's something that I haven't, same thing like I said with Skyzoo, I haven't been able to give it the time it deserves. You know, and I think that's the same thing with this Pharoahe 13 album. I haven't been able to give it the time that it actually deserves. I may need to actually, the way I have in my day, like I do this for an hour, I work for 2 hours, I tweet for an hour, I may need to put a music block where it's just like you just listen to music for an hour. You just put on the headphones, turn off the TV, and just listen. So I'm gonna have to actually do that. Rel, what's something you got next?
This next one, man, I can't wait to hear the responses on this one. J. Cole, All Season. J. Cole, All Season. I like the album, man. My problem is the people that like when it dropped just come out and say that it's the greatest thing ever created. Like that, you know what I'm saying? And it make it difficult with people that actually like it, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't on that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest about it. I like it. Is it like the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, but it's a good album, especially, you know what I'm saying? I like J. Cole, you know what I'm saying? I like that this album in particular, like the intro, how it start off with Cam and he go in like it's you know what I'm saying, he rap his ass off on the album. It's just the overreaction which kind of messes up the experience for me, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of gotta like block everything out when I listen to it, you know what I'm saying? And I like it. Like Hung on Hillside is fire, Applying Pressure is fire. You know what I'm saying? It's a good album, a good 4 mic album to me. And you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's just how stuff is these days, man.
The lyrics just go over your head, or else it would have been a 5 mic album. You know, you ain't vibrating on the high enough.
Right.
You ain't vibrating on the high enough plane to understand the brilliance of Jermaine Cole.
Right. Nah, Nas is my favorite rapper. Nothing J. Cole gonna say is gonna go over my head.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
You need to make a shirt that says that. Nas
yeah,
is my
for real.
J. Cole says goes over
my head. Yeah,
you really need to make that to it.
And these things can be exclusively true. It's a good album, but it's not what y'all making it out to be.
Exactly.
That's not a diss.
Yep.
That's not a diss. Like it's all those things can be true. You know what I'm saying? He's an incredible rapper to me, but to say that he's just so profound that we can't understand, you know what I'm saying? That's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I really like the album, but people messed up the experience for me, so I had to block that out for me to even you know listen to the album like I want to, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give him his respect. It's a good album, and I like J. Cole. So
the wild part is I just want to do like a case study. You remember Will Smith and I Am Legend when he had the zombie in the basement and was like trying to study it? I want to study a scene. Like I want to try to go. I want to chromosomes, all of that shit. Because it's always the joke of find you a woman who loves you the way J. Cole fans love, and it's just like. What happened? Like what is the blood? Is your white blood cell count low? Like what? I want to study the anatomy of a Stan because I don't understand. Because the same Stan who loves J. Cole is cheating on his wife or treating her like shit or like doing some more, not taking their kid out to dinner, spending quality time with their kid, but you loving J. Cole. So I need to understand like what is the anatomy, like what went wrong with, like, let's study the brain, like what happened that you have to, because there was somebody who said something like Cole got a line where something like Jesus died at 33 and so did Nip and so did somebody else, and somebody on the timeline, I think y'all were in the tweets, And it was just like, oh my God, that was the most deepest line ever. And I'm like,
oh no, you lying. Y'all lying, right?
No,
it was. But that's why I want to study it, because it's just like, what? Again, it goes back to what Rel just said. Nas is my favorite rapper, so nothing J. Cole can say can go over my head. And you really need to hashtag that. And
no, for real.
What do all the ball players do now with the process? You copyright that, Rel. Copyright that.
Yes.
Right.
Because if you don't think J. Cole is the best MC ever, then you're not deep enough. And it has nothing to do with that. But I really want to study the anatomy of a stand, just like that would be a funny ass hip hop skit. Like, we are studying the stand, the way Will Smith was trying to figure out how to bring humanity back. It's like, we're going to study the mindset of a stand so we can bring humanity and just fans back to the game. That's what we need. We need fans. We don't need stands. We need fans.
I think it's something in their childhood, man. I think it's something in their childhood that, and not having OGs or not having a male figure to look up to, stuff like that. It's several reasons that people can do that. Like, I know the people I looked up to coming up, my older cousins, my grandfather. Those are like people that I live with. I can see, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I mean. Their influence on me was stronger than a musical artist. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think it's like something with in people's childhood that make them stand like that, because it's.
Now you're 100% right, and I used to joke about it, but I'm dead ass. That's what it's my fault, Vern. What were you gonna say?
No. Two things, real. That's why whenever somebody do that, I put a saxophone on the TL and be like, "Be a father to your child, man." Because y'all need fathers. And secondly, you got this picture stuck in my head of a J. Cole fan banging on the glass with his head trying to get out. When you said, I am legend, man. I'm sorry.
We gotta stay. But Rel, you're 100% right. About maybe 10 years ago, DC was closing this middle school. So the two middle schools that was beefing, they all gonna have to go there. I went to kind of barter like a truce between these two crews, and I was asking them about role models, and they were like, yeah, like a nigga like KG. Like, this how long ago it was, like when Kevin Garnett was out. And it's like, I'm like, okay, that's a good role model, but like a nigga, somebody who that you can talk to. And it was like, you mean a man like doing the right thing? It was like, nah, I ain't got nobody. So when you're talking to 14, 15, 16 kids and they're like, they don't have any men in their lives. Now, like I said, if this was 10 years ago, that 12-year-old kid is now 22. So we don't have that man, and who speaks to you? J. Cole. You know who becomes that role model? KD. James Harden. These men who they don't know become their role model. So you're 100% right. That is one of the reasons why these people, where, like you said, hey, if I'm gonna stand out on anybody, it's gonna be my uncle. You know what I mean? Or if I'm gonna have somebody's back, it's gonna be my pop. That's why these people don't have that OG in their life. So it's like, well, hell, I got to stand for Jay-Z. I used to make jokes about, like, y'all really think Jay or Pop? Truth be told, some of these niggas really do think Jay-Z is they Pop. Like, it on some old real shit, because they didn't have anybody in their life. And if not they Pop, at least the uncle. Like, at least bare minimum.
No, it's they daddy. They call him daddy.
Okay. Well, I don't know about calling another man daddy, but that's neither here nor there on my timeline.
They should.
Right.
Hey,
so, we're gonna study some stands and figure
out. There's a reason why. There's a reason why I don't refer to Jay-Z as Hov. Like, everyone else want to do that. I don't do that, man. He ain't my guy.
No, that's sacrilegious.
I don't do that. No.
And here's the wild part, bro. So I'm gonna have to write a script about that, and we gonna know nobody bite my shit, and I know somebody will, because it's inevitable.
They do it anyway.
Right. We need to do is where we capture a stand, where we right after J. Cole show, and we the 5B crew deep. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the Drop Squad. Drop Squad. We gonna watch out for us at the next J. Cole show, because after this pandemic, y'all gonna come out in droves. One of y'all niggas is getting thrown in the back of the truck and be in the cage.
The stand chasers.
Yeah, we study this, so we can solve this, because this shit is a problem. Porsche, what's another one you got, Miss?
I wasn't going to mention it because you did, but Pete Rock and Amir's joint, 21 grams. That's like on par for me with Skyzoo's joint. I love. I mean, everyone knows I love Pete Rock, but Pete Rock.
Oh.
But Pete Rock merits. Listen, Pete Rock merits the amount of love I give him because he definitely stays relevant. I mean, we've talked about this before in previous episodes. Pete Rock does a very, very good job of remaining relevant and remaining with the times and ear to the street and all of that kind of stuff, and delivers still to this day. Okay, like good top tier production and partners with rappers that he has really good chemistry with, and he's giving us very, very solid albums. I mean, they both are. I'm not just giving all the credit to Pete Rock. It's the MC as well. Retropolitan with Skyzoo was amazing, and then now this joint with Amir, and just like Hill, like first time I'm hearing this guy, and I'm quoting him on like from this album, and tweeting about it, and I'm tweeting nonstop about this album. It is amazing. I love everything about it. I love his the beats, of course, are bright and they're energetic and they're really like nice. And then on top of that, the subject matter is super relevant, and the bars, like the guy is just so good. Amir is so good at delivery, at like writing, at everything. So that album is, that's like a 4.5 mic album for me. I have literally not stopped listening to it since it hit. So,
and you know what, Porsche, you make a great point about Pete that I'm just kind of realizing now. I mean, I've always known Pete has been dope, but I don't know if I like Amir as much as an MC if he's not over these beats. You know what I mean?
You don't.
Right. So it's one of those things like
not a diss. It's right. I mean, it's CL Smooth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things like even with the Skyzoo thing for me, Pete was able to make me enjoy a whole album of an MC who I usually don't enjoy a whole album of. You know what I mean? And that's as a producer, that's an amazing gift to be able to have. For me to say I'm not a big fan of Skyzoo's discography, but I love Retropolitan. Like that's a huge thing for somebody to be like, oh, I don't like XYZ MCs, but when he gets with Pete Rock, I like him. Like that's kind of huge.
Like,
in another
like I don't know that people really, I don't know who really like Smoke DZA by himself, but his joint with Pete was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's a real good point. That's really true. You know what I'm saying?
Another thing is I mean I don't know Pete Rock personally. I wish I could have conversations with Pete Rock and kind of, have this as fact. But what it seems like to me is that Pete Rock knows who he is. He knows what caliber he stands at. And he doesn't just water down his brand and himself and his beats with just anybody because they may be popular, because they may hit the radio, because this, that, and the third. I feel like he really invests the time and the beats into people who he thinks are at the same sort of level as he is, or that he knows he can complement, or vice versa. And I think that that's also a skill that's super, super important, because a lot of people get wrapped up in the, but I need like radio play and I need this and I want to be mainstream. Pete's never really, I don't know, in my opinion, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, like I just don't think Pete's ever done that. He's always sort of kind of gone with what he knows to work with him and his beats.
I mean, there was a time when Pete was an ambulance chaser on the remix tip, but I can't get mad at that.
Yeah, let's
I can't get mad
not
at that. I mean,
not the remixes, but I'm talking like.
But as far as just straight up and down production, nah.
No,
not at all. All right, so I'm tapped out for hip hop. The last two I got are gonna be R&B. I got this shorty. Her name is Rolla, and the name of the album is Venus, and that's what it looks like. Shorty
Rolla,
Rolla, and the name of the album is Venus. Now, here's the thing. So,
he kills.
I sent it to JR. Like, whenever I'm not confused, but I'm just like I'm intrigued by something. I'm like, check this shit out and let me know what you think about it.
Yeah.
Quest had done this thing. Like, I think it's incredibly dope. And again, this is neither here nor there. Quest did this whole thing on YouTube, A Day in the Life of Questlove, and I was like, you know what? Because I do so much stuff, I want to see what his day in the life is like, because I'm sure he has to compartmentalize it some way to be able to get everything accomplished. So I was like, let me see what he does. And one of the things he was saying he does is when he's taking his drive from his crib over to 30 Rock for the Jimmy Fallon shows, he challenged himself to listen to something like crazy, like 100 new albums a week or something crazy like that. And I was like, nobody got time for that shit. Let me just do one album a week. So it's this website I go to. It's called newalbumreleases.net. And it's just free downloads for all this stuff. And I'll just click on their pop category is like pop and R&B. So if you're looking, so I just clicked on that, and I was like, the first album cover that looks interesting, the same way I used to go digging. I don't know what album, I'm just grab it because of the cover. First cover I find that looks interesting, I'm gonna listen to. And it was like this chick right here with these freckles, and I was like, looks interesting, let me check it out. The production is dope. Here's the only thing, y'all, she's singing in German. You know what I mean? So I tweeted this out on the timeline like, yo, can you enjoy? Because I'm loving this. T is like, nigga, you don't know what she's saying. I'm like, come on, I don't know what Erykah Badu is saying when she's singing English.
Oh
like,
my
me
God.
not knowing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what people are saying in English. So,
it's kind of like SZA. Her man is her man, is my man is her man.
Right, so, like, hey, I don't know what the hell I don't know what D'Angelo was saying. So that's nothing to me. And then different people are like, well, nah, that's cool because, you know, and then when people act like I'm crazy, I'm like, what about Les Nubians? I remember them chicks from France and everybody was all over Les Nubians. So like, now all of a sudden we can't listen to somebody in another language. I like the production. I like her voice. I think it's a dope album. I definitely play it all the time. But like I said, it's in German. But if you, you know, it's definitely R&B. So definitely check it out. I love it. But that was one of the, I found her from doing this whole thing where I challenge myself once a week to just go to this website and just kind of just scroll through. And the first album cover that kind of grabs my attention, you know, I listen to it. So I've come up on a lot of music like that. JR, what you got up next?
Her name is Joyce Rice, and she's actually half Chinese and half black, if I'm not mistaken. And I got into her.
So like rice, like Chinese rice?
It's WRICE.
All right.
Yeah. And I got on her with Good Morning, but then I really got into her from a duet she did with Devin Morrison.
And on Devin's album?
On Devin's album. It's called
okay. Yeah. Okay.
So what's the name of this Joyce Rice album?
It's called Overgrown. It just came out like maybe about 2 months ago. And at first I was like, I don't know, because it's like sometimes her vocal runs is a little, it's like, girl, stop. Like, you don't have to. Like, just sing, you know what I mean? But that Brandy complex, everybody feel like they got to run. So, you know what I mean? Or that Jasmine Sullivan, you feel like you have to run, but they actually do it right. You know what I mean? So she a little much, but I was like, yo, I like That's On You that D Mile did. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna check it out. And Sin actually put me on, and he was like, yo, it's a dope album. And I listened to it, and I enjoyed it. Like, she got a joint called Falling in Love with Lucky Day. She got a joint with the guy that y'all put me on to, Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, the rapper. Yeah.
They got it on together.
Sounds like Freddie, somebody, Freddie.
Yeah.
Rerun.
It's a Freddie guy. Somebody named Freddie's on this album. It's a Freddie guy. It's not Freddie Jackson. Freddie
rerun stuff.
I'm sorry. And then she got a joint called she got a joint with Kay Trinata, who I am such a fan of. I want this dude to get so much more love than he gets. Like, he works with everybody, but he's like on them album tracks that nobody talks about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he did a couple of joints on there, and then she got a joint with Devin Morrison. I think it's dope. It's a dope project. You know what I mean? Like, don't expect, you know, like, it's going to be the best singing in the world. Now, can she carry a tune? Yes. But don't expect you gonna get vocals all day. But I think it's a dope record, to be honest with you. So I rock with it.
What's your go-to song on it?
It's On You.
All right,
it's on you, and that's what D Miles did that.
Okay,
he did that joint, and it's On You.
I'm just asking that because I know we're giving people so much music. Like I'm even
right.
Where do I start? So just
I would say
just give somebody a.
And then on that album, she actually she's singing the kind of I think the Japanese version, if I'm not mistaken. She's singing it in Japanese, which I think is still cool. She's singing the hook in Japanese, but she's singing the song like, you know what I mean? So I think it's dope. But if you want to go, I would say listen to That's On You, the single first, because that was actually one of my favorite songs last year. So, so I would definitely recommend it. Y'all check it out. I think it's dope. I still go to it. You know what I mean? But yeah.
All right. And for Roller, I would say start with this joint called Ride or Die. That's probably my favorite one.
That's the one you sent me.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
I liked it. To be honest, I forgot to respond because I didn't know what the hell she was saying, but it had me in a vibe. So
here's the wild part about it. Don't listen to music from another country high, because I listened to it like all night, and I was like, I think she's singing in another language. And I let T hear, and she was like, "Nigga, you was there high."
I should have knew something wasn't right, y'all. Because Kill sent me this joint at like 2:30 in the morning. So I should have knew something wasn't right. Because he normally is send me during the day. And I woke up and was like, why is he sending me this joint at 3 in the morning?
Hey, I'm up like a damn vampire. Vern, who you got up next?
All right, I'm going Auntie and Unc by Kendrick and the Family Soul.
That was my next joint.
Hey, man, that's a date night. Just put that mug on play and just groove out with your honey. Or Portia.
Y'all not gonna be taking all the R&B ones. Y'all feel like hip hop.
I ain't got no hip hop.
Y'all petty.
Like, yeah, nigga. So I got to grab on something.
Yeah. I celebrate this group along with another group that I'm gonna mention because they love out loud out in the open, man. And you could tell that they love each other. They're happy to be married. Got a great family. And this is a dope album, man. It's got that soul to it, man. And I'm gonna pick out a couple of standouts. Break It Down is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Black Love Story, and
that's my favorite.
I love how they freaked Over the Moon, man. It's on some I don't know, some 50s, 60s, just
it's like on some Flamingo type. Only Eyes on You type of joint.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
It is.
So Auntie and Unc by Kendrick and the Family Souls. Support good, solid people and good music. Yeah. That's one.
Oh yeah, me and he's doing the interview with them.
That's you.
Yeah. Me and he's got an interview with them.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's money right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, my favorite joint is probably Made It.
Okay.
But everything you name, Vern, like you said, Break It Down. To me, it's the perfect album because Break It Down sets it all perfectly. Black Love Story ends it perfectly, and then there's everything else in between. So to me, it's like, I told somebody the other day, I'm like, it's like a perfect chicken cheesesteak because it starts with the bread. The chicken cheesesteak, Varel knows, starts with the Omarosa rolls. You know what I mean? And then it goes into the actual meat, and then if you get your fried onions and everything. So it's about how you started and how you end it. You know what I mean? So,
you have the best analogies, I swear.
Here's the crazy thing, man. Like I said on Twitter the other day, if I can't do shit else in life, I'm gonna give a nigga an analogy.
That's
something I'm gonna do.
You said it,
I'm gonna give you all an analogy. So that's if I can't do nothing else. Eddie, what you got up next, man?
All right, my next one. This is I've been going reverse order. So this is my number 3, and this is my independent bag. Actually, an album I just wrote about on my website, freestyles.com, is We Owe the World by Del P. And that's what that
We Owe the World?
We Owe the World by Del P. And he's an MC from Philly.
Word?
And he's an MC from Philly. And actually, Tracy Lee is featured on this album.
Okay.
Very dope track. It's called Barkley and Irvin. So Del P and Tracy Lee on that joint. He got Wise Intelligent from Poor Rice's Teacher featured on there. But I will say, yo, this album is dope. It's him, one producer, Donny Boy. So the production is consistent. And he released this album on Juneteenth. It's very much like a conceptual album. So he's speaking about the city of Philly, about what's wrong, about what's good, how to fix what's wrong, how to, stand up, take responsibility. But it's not an album that feels overly preachy. He got some joints where it's kind of like cautionary tales, and stuff like that. But it's really dope. Like I said it in my review, it's one of my favorite albums that I listened to this year. And from my first listen, I knew, man, I'm gonna be replaying this joint. Like it's that good, and I know it's gonna be under the radar. Like I heard of this dude, Del P. Like he kind of touched base with me. I was doing the freestyle thing, and he touched base with me last year with another album he did called "Make Him Seeing Great Again." So I really liked that album. So I was already familiar with him, but this album is definitely his best work. So definitely give it a listen. Like if I'm sure a lot of people watching this don't know who he is, but he's a really dope MC, and it's a really great album.
All right, dope. What you got next, Rob?
I got Devin the Dude. Devin the Dude's latest album.
I didn't know he had a new album out.
Yeah,
man. And it's called Soulful Distance. And if you ever listen to Devin, you know what you're getting, and you getting that on this album, man. It's chill, like it's what people say it's a vibe. It's a vibe. If you smoke or you drinking or you just chilling, like this is the perfect genre to put on, man. And sometimes you want to escape from the more seriousness of life, and you know what I'm saying. And he's like the everyman MC. So the subject matter is stuff that you can everyday stuff that you can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling. If I had to tell somebody to go to a song, it would be To Each His Own or You Got No Time to Play. And it's classic vintage Devin the Dude, you know what I'm saying? And it's a reason why, every MC, your favorite MC, all of them mess with Devin the Dude, you know what I'm saying? Right. So if you're a fan of him, like you won't be disappointed in this album. I was actually listening to it last night. It's a good album, man. So he never really disappointed me. So
right.
Soulful Distance.
No doubt. Porsche, what's your last two? What you got left for us so we can get to the disappointing joints?
For sure. My last two are Benny the Butcher and 38 Special with Trust the Sopranos. I love that album. Benny is dope as hell. I just have to be in like a mood to listen to Benny, and currently I'm in the Benny the Butcher mood. So I've been playing like a lot of his joints, and this one I absolutely love. I literally spent a 5-hour road trip listening to this Skyzoo and the Pete Rock and Amir joint, literally on like repeat, just looping them all. And it was amazing. Like I absolutely loved it. So this one, I just think Benny, he always has bars. We know that. He's really good at having quotables. The flow is amazing. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't disappoint either. Well, most of the time he doesn't disappoint.
Is this a compilation album?
This is with 38 Special, but there are like every track has features on it. From like
that's the only reason why I didn't tune into this, because I thought it was like some compilation album.
Listen, Shay Noir's on there. I love her. I think she's amazing. I know Eddie really likes her too. Shay Noir as a featured, like I was looking forward to those tracks, and they were brilliant. My favorite joint on the album is called Love Left, and oh my god, like it's just so captivating. It's like a somber song. Yeah, you guys need to listen to it. And then my last joint is Romantic.
No, I'm with Kill on that with the group thing, because the last time Benny did that BSF album, it left me disappointed. So when I saw BSF in there, I was kind of like, nah.
Here's my disclaimer. But here's my disclaimer. I'm not as hard on rappers, on MCs, on groups as everybody in the world is, because I don't put that much weight on production. So for me, when I say that this album like did not disappoint, it's because I'm not like, I listen to the production, but it's like a you know, like I think it was perfect for the album. I don't have a problem with it. So take what I say with a grain of salt, because I feel like everybody else is much harder on MCs because of their production and their albums than I am. So that's my disclaimer. And my last joint is Willmatic by Vegas and Kill.
Thank you, miss.
Yeah, I absolutely... I love that album. We did a Twitter Spaces where Vegas talked about the album before it dropped. I think it was like a week prior to release. And it was just so brilliant that he did this whole album dedicated to his cousin Ill Will, who is Nas's best friend also. The album is just very well put together. Kill... I mean, people know this about me. I love Kill's production. It reminds me of the 90s, but then like up to date. It doesn't sound dated. So for me, I just love everything about that album. Definitely didn't disappoint. Vegas is a stellar MC. Definitely brought the listeners some sort of like knowledge about Ill Will. And I think that that's so special, because this is the only way that we get to know these people that, should have been. I mean, Ill Will was unfortunately taken way too soon. And this is just like, it's a gem. It's such a brilliant album. So Willmatic by Vegas and Kill.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I never shout out my
Will Do is my shit, Kill. I wanted to tell you that.
What's that?
Will Do.
Oh, yeah. I love that joint too. I love it too. Thank you for that. I really don't got nothing else left, because I said P, I said Rolla, Vern said the auntie and uncle. I said you know what? I'll give this one. I'll give this the Unlearning Volume 1 by Evidence. It kind of just dropped, like I guess 2 weeks ago, because I was in Cancun when it dropped. Liked it so much I had to cop the vinyl. I'm just an Evidence fan. Evidence again is one of those MCs. Either you love them or you just don't like them. It's not too many in between Ev fans. So I definitely enjoyed this album. Haven't even had a chance to really live with it, but if I had to pick a 5 just to have something to say, this is like on the cusp of, but I'm still in my 2-week phase of listening to it, but definitely a dope album for me. So we go straight to
I'm agreeing, man. That one was on my cusp, but I've only given it really one good listen, which is why I didn't make it. But I'm with you. Like, it's good. It's definitely really good. I just gotta live with stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just grabbing it to just make a 5. Just to make board. I just wanted to, I just had to make board real quick, so I could make board. JR, what are your last 2, or if you have 2 left?
Well, somebody took one of mine, so I got this one more, and it's Vance Jess and their album Homegrown. Van Jess. And their album is entitled Homegrown.
Okay.
And these girls can sing. Like, again, I feel like that's what R&B is missing a lot of, because I feel like groups was kind of like the backbone for R&B for real.
Now, how did you find them?
I found them from actually listening to K Tronada, because he's like a main producer for them. So, I've been following him since like maybe 2011. I've been a fan of him. And he did like Tidra Moses, Be Your Girl over again. Like, he did that. And I saw these Vance Jess. I was like, who's this? And he did a joint with them. And I was like, yo, they dope. So I went and I did my research on them. And they came out with their debut project. It was entitled Silk Canvas.
And they're a girl group?
It's 2 girls. It's 2 sisters. Okay. They're from Africa, but then they came over and they moved to LA. Their names is Ivana and Jessica. And they're dope. Like, they can sing. Like, they really, really can sing. And you know, I love what Kaytranada. I want them to do a full album with Kaytranada. That's what I want, because they got a song, Dysfunctionals, that's so dope. Another Lover, Addicted, like those are the on that. But this new album, Homegrown, they got a song called Come Over, which I love. High and Dry, I love. Come Over Again, which they end the album with. Like, it definitely has it has that newer sound, because you just got to get with the times. It's just what it is. But if you can put it together and have like a soul to it, then I'm with it. And I think these girls do that because they can actually sing. So they bring that to the record, and it's still their Black empowerment for real. So, you know, but I think it's a dope record. So I recommend you guys check out Homegrown. And, you know, people ain't doing albums, they doing EPs, whatever the hell they call it. Yeah. But that's just what it is. So that's my last one. I had 5, but Vern took my other one. So.
All right, Vern, what you got left?
I'm one more. This song, album Generations by the Baylor Project. That's Gene Baylor, used to be in Jeanne.
I knew you was gonna do that. That's why I put that on mine.
Yeah, and had and that drummer. I mean, her husband is a drummer. He plays for Yellow Jackets. Very dope, man. I was listening to it last week because it came in the mail. Autograph, by the way, those my peoples. But anyway, it came in the mail.
Flex. Okay, flex.
Yeah, we flexing. You see it?
And I was listening to it. I was driving, and so I guess some of the songs that stand out. The first one is Stride. It's more of a jazzy, gospel-y, soul album. But I would say Striving is real old school with Kenny Garrett playing on it. A love story is a lot of nice love songs. Then it flips into something else, man. The song called 2020, I was driving in the car and I was crying because you could hear and feel the ancestors. It's like not a slavery song, but a song about how we got over and what made us get through it. And I felt it, bro. I mean, I need music I can feel, and I felt that joint. And you
said it's called Generation by Bailey who?
Generations by the Baylor Project.
Baylor Project. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And JR, I didn't realize who was on this song, but they was killing it, and it makes sense now. It's a song called We Swing. It's a cipher with Gene Baylor
and Donna Reeves.
Diane Reeves, I didn't realize she was on that one.
Yeah, I heard it. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And Diane Reeves is my girl with the grandma song, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That's all I know. This grandma song, right?
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
It's another sister on there, Jasmine Horn. I've heard of her before on that same song, JR. But yeah,
what is she on? I really don't know too much about her.
I've heard. What else did I hear on Jasmine? I think she was doing. I got to find who I heard her on before.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've heard of her before. But it's a very thorough album. Again, another couple that loves each other. I love how they love on each other in public.
Yes.
They real genuine people. I mean, I met them one time when they came in concert, and I always shout them. Do my duty to shout them out and support their projects, because we always talk about stuff not being quality, and then we don't support when quality comes out. So whatever they put out, I'm buying. Whatever Kendrick put out, I'm buying. And when they come in town, I'm going to see them. So Generations by the Baylor, and that's it for me, man. This year in music has left a lot to be desired.
But that 2020 is serious.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like, I felt like that was like how Aretha did How I Got Over type. It made me feel like that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what you got left?
All right, I got 2 more, and these are my number 2 and my number 1. So my number 2, I Am God, The Eternal Reflection. Really, really dope album. Another conceptual album. I feel like I Am God, like no disrespect to other artists, other MCs from Chicago. I feel like I Am God is really the Chicago ambassador. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. At this point, he's rapping about his city. He's addressing the topics. He's rapping from a perspective that the people in the street can understand. He's he's speaking like even the interludes on this. It's like really in your face, straightforward, kind of addressing what's wrong. But I love this joint he did. I mean, it kind of makes me tear up sometimes when I listen to it. But Good Die Young, where he's rapping this like the perspective of someone's brother got killed, and he's guy's going out to get revenge, and he winds up shooting into a crowd of people and gets a little kid. And then on the second verse is a kid rapping from his perspective when he realizes, he thought it was just firecrackers, then he realizes he got shots, and talk about his experience. It's such a heartbreaking, but it's such a well done joint. I mean, but everything like from Chicago with Hate, the first song on the album.
That song is fire.
That song is fire. That's my favorite song.
Yeah, that song is crazy.
The ghost of Cavalier Mitchell is fire, and then like a bottle full of liquor. It gives me like Nas Drunk by Myself and a Biggie Suicidal Thoughts vibes. Like it's kind of in that realm. Like just really dope album. Like I said, if you watch us, he's been on the show.
Yeah, he was. I was going to ask. Yeah, he was on the show. Okay, yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? But check it out, man. It's on streaming platforms, or you could support it, get on Bandcamp, whatnot. And then my number one is Skyzoo, All the Brilliant Things. To me, this is just a 5 mic album. Might be the only album this year that I give 5 mics to, but I mean, from the opening, Free Jewelry, I was hooked. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got, I mean, the beat, I had my head nodding, singing along to the hook. And I want to say like up into, like Bodega Flowers, and it's like that run is incredible. And then it doesn't stop. I mean, Something to Believe In with Raheem DeVaughn. And then, you got the second half of the album, Culture-ish, Bed-Stuy is Burning, What Money Taught Us. And like, it's a complete album to me. And what's crazy is how every song, or mostly every song, has a different producer. The majority of these tracks, I never heard of the producer, but it sounds so consistent throughout. It sounds like one producer might have produced it, and I think that goes to Skyzoo's ear. To make an album like that with so many different producers and producers that you never heard of, and I think he just has a great ear for production. And then the concept of the album with Brooklyn gentrified and all that, and how he executes it, from different perspectives, or not perspective, but he attacks it from different angles on each song. So it's incredibly dope.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no doubt, nice. Bro. What you got left, bro?
I got one more, man. It's and this artist, like their recent releases been getting kind of criticized, but it's a EP, Miguel Art Dealer Chic 4. I like it. Survived to me. I see you making faces.
Who's that, Jake?
No, I'm go ahead.
Yeah.
What is the name of the artist?
Miguel.
Like Miguel.
Oh, Miguel.
Yeah.
You said it in a way. I'm like,
what happened to boy? I didn't even know he had nothing new out. He just disappeared.
It's an EP. He's done. This is part 4 of these EPs that he did.
Okay.
And he kind of he's kind of he'll be all right. He kind of Miguel kind of fell off a little bit, what I'm saying, with his releases. What I'm saying, his first 2 genres was crazy, and then kind of I don't know what happened, but so I gave this one a chance, and I actually like it. The song "Thinking Out Loud" is fire, and "So I Lie" is fire. I liked it. What I'm saying, it was a good a good 4 songs, and hopefully he can get back to where he was at before. I don't know what happened before he kind of just fell off. You know what I'm saying? He's a talented dude. I just don't know. I think he's lacking direction, I guess, or motivation. I don't know. But this joint is pretty cool. I've been listening to it a lot, so it had to make my list, and that's it for me.
And what's the name of it?
It's called Art Dealer Chic 4.
Art Dealer Chic 4. All right.
Yeah, so he started making.
We have Art Dealer Chic 1 through 3 too. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right. Bet. All right, Porsche. What's the album that disappointed you the most this year?
Oh man,
Well,
it's the Pharoah Monch joint, the 13 joint, or I guess the Pharoah Monch 13 joint. What is it? Exorcism.
A good day for exorcism.
Good day for an exorcism. And for me, again, I think Pharoah Monch is extremely talented. I do think that if anyone can push that envelope, it's Monch. I just didn't, and Eddie kind of nailed it when he listed why people wouldn't really take to it, and that's exactly me. Like, I was wanting, I think Kill also mentioned it, like, you haven't given us an album in like half a decade, and then you come out with this, and I didn't want to hear you like meshing with Nine Inch Nails and Metallica and AC/DC and like this, and like I just was like I was listening to this album, you guys, and I was like, wait, what? And then I like fast forward, I like skip the song, and I'm like, really, again? And then I fast forward again, and I'm like, no, Monch, where are you in this? Like, where are you? Like, I felt like I was digging, trying to find Pharoah Monch, and like, where is he? So yeah, I was hella disappointed. Like, I remember me and Eddie talking about anticipating a Monch album like every single year that we've been on Apartment 5B, talking about anticipating albums.
Monch kept teasing. He kept teasing about
Monch
something
kept
coming.
Teasing, and then he comes out with this, and I was like, nah, man, like, I can't with you. Go sit in the corner. Like, I was so mad.
It killed. It was like, I'm going to tear that up. I'm going to tear it up.
You get it? Like, well, you know, I had work today. I worked out.
Stressed out, man. I got a lot on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
This don't never happen to me.
Yeah, this don't
I
never.
don't know what's going on with me. What's wrong with you, nigga? Get up. You know, so yeah, definitely. You know, the funny thing is, and the reason why I still cop the album, because one of the things, my OG Roots was on here once, and he was talking about how with white groups, they're able to get the free. And here's the thing that I don't know. This thing that I don't know, and if somebody's watching and you're white and like you're really white, and I don't mean like really, this sounding bad. If you like,
oh my god,
no, I'm just saying, because this is what happens. Black people get in the room and we be like, and white people with the Rolling Stones, and it's
they
like we don't even know nobody who listens to the Rolling Stones. White people who listen to the Rolling Stones, who listen to rock and roll, who listen to do they feel like, yo, we didn't like that Bon Jovi album? I feel like it's this black myth that white people support every single album that comes out from white artists.
They do.
But again, until I meet that person, I need to meet a white person who is a fan of these groups and say, because guess what? There could be some white people sitting around doing a podcast like, them niggas over there, they support everything. Look at how Nas is selling. Look at how Jay is selling. So from the outside looking in, it may look like we support everything. So that's all I'm saying. Like, great example. I was talking about Dame Dash. Didn't know Dame Dash.
Man.
Come to his defense.
Oh Lord.
Man.
But my man was like, yo, put some respect on Dame's name, you know, because, and this is the only reason he talks to me like this, because this is my man from back home. He's like, yo, put some respect on Dame's name. He had this, he had that, he had that, he had this. And I said, you need more people. You need more people. So how do you know Dame is still a millionaire? Because he said so? Okay, guess what? Apartment 5B is now valued at $1.8 billion. Okay? So y'all don't believe anything a motherfucker say. How about that? How about that? Since that's all it takes. And the funny thing is, and I'm going to share this, because he ain't put this on the timeline, Malik. You ain't put this on the timeline, but the nigga texted it to me. Hold on. I got to find the text now. This nigga said, oh, you might be right. because it say Dame Dash got a whatchamacallit $10,000. So it's like, you might be right, Kill. He ain't put that on the timeline. He texted me that I might be right. But I'm just saying all that to say is that, I just need to talk to a white person who is a fan of those groups. You know what I mean?
I just didn't want Monch to be the one. Like, I didn't want to sacrifice Monch to rock and roll, if that makes sense.
I totally get it. But the only thing
why couldn't Drake go do that? Like, why? Why couldn't it be Drake? Like, he's done Jamaican. He's done, like, what else has he, like,
Drake is a chameleon. One day he's a Kentucky fan, the next day he's a UConn fan. Drake is a chameleon.
Like, why couldn't it, then why was it Monch? Like, I just wanted a hip-hop album from him, and I didn't get it. So.
And I get it. And I think the only reason why, because I listened to it, and it was okay, but I said, you know what? Roots was talking about, let's just say white people do that. Let's say white people do allow John Cougar Mellencamp to make whatever kind of album he wants to make, and then he comes back, and then, they still support him. So I was just like, yo, this is Monch. And I can tell, if you follow Monch on Twitter, he seems very eclectic. Monch does not seem like a Queens nigga. Like, you know what I mean? He's not Cormega. He's not Nature. Like, he seems eclectic. So I'm going to assume that he just maybe had this album that he wanted to make. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you know what? Let me grant you the freedom to do that shit. We still just really would like, and again, I think this would have been an easier pill to swallow if we got a Monch album every 2 years, or if we got a Monch album every year. This would probably be easier to swallow. But if it's like T used to, okay, I'm always thinking about what I'm about to say. So it's one of those things where, like, when we didn't have a lot of money and we could only go on like one vacation a year, she's like, do you want to go to like London? And I'm like, no, I like beaches. Now that we can afford to go on multiple vacations, sure, I'd love to go to London. Sure, I'd love to go to Paris, but my number one vacation is always a beach. So I'm just saying that to say, kind of like with Monch, to have Monch, if we got an album of him every year, this wouldn't have been a big deal. It kind of would have been like, okay, that's foul being foul. Right. But you know what?
And that's my whole thing. And that's my whole thing is I just, we waited a really long time.
So that's what it is. But again, like, imagine if Pharoah Monch put out albums the way Griselda does. Right. This shit would have been nothing, because you would have just been like, well, in 2 weeks, I'll have Pharoah Monch album out. So like you said, I think that's it. My most disappointing album is an album that I actually like, and it's what Rel said, J. Cole to Off Season. I agree with Rel. I give it 4 mics. I listen to it a lot. The reason I'm disappointed in it is because the way people talk about Cole, they talk about him in which a way that he should be dropping these 5 mic albums that are going to lead us into the next millennium. You know what I mean? And this album wasn't that. So anytime I see, and again, it's just when it comes to Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, we're really Cole and Kendrick because that's the hip hop in me. But I'm expecting both of their albums to be amazing. Like, I still listen to Good Kid, Mad City. I still listen to Pimp a Butterfly. I still listen to Damn. I can't say I'm going to be listening to the Off Season, 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Bro, you ain't listening to it 2 months after it came out. Nobody is. They ain't talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's songs on here that I like. You know what I mean? But and then I think it was once I saw, because if anybody watches Apartment 5B, me and Porsche always complain about J. Cole producing his own stuff. Yeah. So when I saw that other producers were producing for him, and I'm like, oh, he got Jake One, and he got this, he's got outside producers. Then it, like, my expectation like skyrocketed to the roof, because it was like J. Cole's never gonna allow somebody else to produce him, for the simple fact he produces his own self. He goes platinum with no features. If it ain't broke, why fix it? So that kind of took the expectations to another level. So again, I think it's a solid album. I think it's good. I give it 4 mics, 3.5, 4 on a great day. But I just, again, like Rel said, the hype that people put on it so much. And even I think without the hype, because J. Cole is one of the biggest rappers walking the planet Earth. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's one of the biggest. Okay, so if you're one of the biggest, then I expect you. It's like KD. Even that game they lost to the Bucks, you expect KD to go out and give it his all. Mm-hmm. And truth be told, if his foot was like a milli-inch, a little bit behind that line, we ain't even. Yeah, that's game. Like, Brooklyn is in the finals. So, but that's what you expect from KD. Like, you expect him to go out shooting and giving it all. So, even though they lost, he had a 5 mic game to me, and I just don't feel like this Cole is a 5 mic. It's not what you would expect from one of the greatest MCs walking the planet Earth. JR, what was the album that disappointed you this year?
Her, Back of My Mind.
Mm. Nice.
She's an industry plant. I'm sorry. I feel like she's playing it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on one. So yes, I feel
now,
like
break this down to me. Break this down. Why is she an industry plant? Like Naomi loves her. Like I mean,
I'm a fan of her.
Me too.
She can play instruments. She's dope. But I feel like they throwing her in our face to have us saying, "Well, y'all got her. Be quiet." You know what I'm saying? Because we're always complaining about R&B not getting respected and R&B this and R&B that. And they're throwing her in our face. She's winning all these awards. They putting her on the country awards. They putting her on this. They like throwing her in our face. So we can say, well, we got her. So, you know what I mean?
She's Juneteenth.
Yes, she is.
We gave that to y'all. Now shut up.
Now shut up. And period. And it's the truth. Like it's the truth.
That was an analogy for your ass right there.
Yeah. You win, Vern. You win. You get
Vern,
this week.
Yeah,
this week.
Damn.
Because in the beginning with her, I wasn't convinced because I wasn't with the gimmick of not showing your face and doing all that. I wasn't with it, but I finally got onto her and I saw her play her instruments. She did this, I was fine with it. And then I was like, yo, she's dope, but I feel like they pushing. So I was like, she came out with 19 EPs that she ain't say is an album. Mm. So she finally came out with the debut and I'm like, okay, cool. I was bored with it.
Man.
It was boring. Like it's a couple of songs that I like, but I'm like, I'm bored.
And it's too long.
It's too long.
Here's the thing. The only reason why I was intrigued about this album is because Campa did a lot. And I like Campa's production. So that's the only reason why I was even remotely intrigued about
and that's why I was more disappointed because I know Campa for what he did with Brandy. So and other people, I'm like, yo, Campa's gonna body this. And he did her first EP or whatever it was. I don't know how many albums this girl got out. It's whatever. But with this, it was like I was bored. I was like, it's too long. It's 21 songs.
Oh yeah.
Some of these songs don't even need to be there. It's just too long, and I feel like they just throwing her at us. And hey, I don't care what people say. I feel like she's an industry plant, and that's just the bottom line. And take it for what it is. But I'm over it because I didn't understand giving her that title, like, yo, she's the front runner. I'm good with it. With this album and what they're doing industry-wise, I can see it. I ain't with it. Nope.
Nah, I feel you. Vern, what about you?
I didn't have one, but as we talk, I do have one. And all y'all feminists taking agency over your body, people, send your mail somewhere else. This girl could sing her tail off. But I'm disappointed in that Hotels album by Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay.
Really?
This is why. Because I think it's her most popular album or her best sold album. But the whole subject, I mean, again, you grown, you can sing about whatever you want to sing about it.
Right.
But I don't want to hear Hotels for 20 or however many songs is on there.
Right.
You're too talented to me to have to resort to that.
I got you.
But do you think she resorted to it? Because from what I'm understanding is it was like she wanted to tell like this album is for the women.
It is again. So she ain't writing to no 49-year-old man. Right. I get it. But for me, I love her voice. She can sing. I'm not listening to that album.
Right. So, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's one of those albums like maybe like what JR, how you felt about Sadiq's
Raphael, yep.
About the last joint. About
Jimmy Lee.
Telling the story. Yeah, Jimmy Lee.
Yep.
Yeah. You know I mean, it's like because I remember seeing on the timeline people like, oh, Jasmine a hoe. And I'm like, well, no, she's telling stories like, the interludes of the stories that lead into the album and everything like that. But no, I totally get what you're saying.
I totally get it.
I love the song with her, but There are songs on there I like, but as a whole, it's not one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, this is the bottom of her catalog for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Eddie, what about you? What anything disappoint you that you was looking forward to?
Yeah, Benny the Butcher, The Plugs I Met Too.
Yeah, I should have said that one.
Yo, because I feel like Benny Benny was on a really dope run, and I got onto him late.
Right.
But even some of the other stuff that I went back to was really dope. But I got onto him Tana Talk 3, which is incredible. Plugs I Met, incredible. Even the Statues of Limitation joint, that collaboration was dope. And then, it's been hit or miss. Burden of Proof, I like it. I don't run it back all the time, but it's better than the Plugs I Met Too. And I should have known, like, Harry Fraud never really does it for me.
It's so funny you say that, bro, because to me, Benny is Benny. Like, there are just certain MCs that are just the MC. So I'm a Benny fan, you know what I mean? And it's just those beats, like, even I would not be shocked. Those beats sound 10, 12 years old. Like, it doesn't even fit into what's going on now. And it was the same thing because I love Jimmy Jones' El Capo album, and Jimmy Jones and Harry Fraud album just didn't do it for me. So, like, he as a producer, dude just doesn't do it for me.
Yo, he's one of them producers that I wonder, like, how the hell did he become popular? And there's a few, I'm this is not what that show is about, but there's a few, and he's one of them. I'm like, how the hell he get popular? It's like none of his beats really do it for me. Maybe if he gets one, but he shouldn't be producing whole albums. That's how I feel. And honestly, the features, features were hit or miss. Were hit or miss. I mean, and the misses were really bad.
Yeah, that's a good call too, because I was looking forward to that joint too. Matter of fact, I want to say I copped it, and I copped it. I haven't even opened it yet. Because I heard it after I copped it before I heard it. However the hell it happened, but I just haven't even opened it yet. So that's a testament to it right there. But again, I do support folk I fuck with, even if I don't like the album. It's a testament to that. Rel, what you got for your disappointed joint?
Man, this one hurts. But the Four Horsemen joint, the Killer Priest, Razzcast, Cannabis, and Corrupt John. Now, I will say they are rapping their ass off on this album, but the beats, and I'm not like a huge.
You got a funny thing, Rel. Everybody who I ask about that album says this. They are rapping like the goddamn Olympics out there, but the beats, like but the beats.
And I'm not a guy that, like, what I'm saying, I can overlook like if the beat ain't super fire, but some of them joints is just like really bad. You know what I'm saying? And for another reason why it's a disappointment for me is because of timing. Like, we should have got this a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And those are four great MCs.
It's Corrupt, Cannabis,
Killer Priest, and Razzcast.
Okay, cool.
That was supposed to come out a long time ago.
And a couple of the songs are from back then. A couple of the songs are as old as when it was supposed to come out.
Now tell me this: was this sort of like a Slaughterhouse problem where niggas is just rapping for 78 bars? Like, it's not really a song structure. Like,
no.
Okay.
It's just the beats aren't that good. Like, there's a couple of them that's straight, but it's just.
So, like, what's the structure? Like, to me, with 4 MCs, it's kind of like if I'm the executive producer, I'm like, I can't have you 4 niggas on every track. So if we got 12 tracks, all 4 of y'all are only going to be on 2. The rest of it is going to be Razzcast and Corrupt, you got a song, and Cannabis and Killer Priest, you got a song, and Razzcast, you do the hook. And is it like that, or
it didn't delve into it? It's some songs where all of them it didn't delve into it. It should have been like how you just said it. It kind of wasn't a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a little bit like that, but not how you just said it. You know what I'm saying? And then like one of the songs I really like, and here's the thing, I don't even know the name of it, but it was one of the first songs that I heard that was kind of new. They kind of Corrupt, Razzcast, and Cannabis kind of went, you know, back and forth, you know what I'm saying? And then the last part, the beat changed, and then Killer Priest started rapping. And that, how they did that worked, you know what I'm saying? I think they needed to be a little bit more creative in doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? That particular song, I'm going to find it when I get off here. That particular song, like, because the beat switched, and then Killer Priest went into his thing that he do, you know what I'm saying? It was cool. And like rapping wise, it's top tier. It's just the production, and you know, you gotta be real clever producing those type of MCs together like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta really find the right sound for those type of MCs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, Ro, the way you're describing it, I think they might have made Cannabis the executive producer. That man cannot pick beats for his life ever.
Right. But here's the wild part.
Go ahead, my fault.
No, I was going to say, this is where I come back to over and over again. In 2021, there is no excuse for any MC to have whack beats. Why? Yeah, for the simple fact, and I say this all the time, if Cannabis got on Twitter and IG and said, y'all, we're finally making a Four Horsemen album, producers, send us your beats. Every producer would have been sending them the craziest beats. And here's the other great part. Cannabis could say, we don't even have no budget. You'll get production credit. Your name will be in the liner notes. You can put it in your bio, produce for Corrupt, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? We still would have been sending them the dopest beats. So there's literally no excuse for me since the invention of Twitter. So we can go back 10 years. There's no excuse for any MC, especially if you are a signed MC or you were a signed MC or you're a household name. There's no excuse for you to have whack beats when all you have to do is say, and here's something, and people have said, well, Kill, people may not want to jump on Twitter and say they don't got no money because you got to act like you rich. Dog, what? Am I the only fucking smart nigga in the room? All you got to do is be like, you know what, y'all? We want to get back to hip hop and give unknown producers a shot at becoming known.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's it. There's so many different ways you can spin that you don't even have to be like, I'm broke and I don't got no money. You could flip it where it's like, and you could be the open arms of hip hop. Look at what Corrupt and them did. They gave all these young dudes a chance to get on and show their skills. Yeah. So I'll never, and this is why somebody watching, fucking hire me, y'all. I can do this shit. I can exactly.
Didn't Inspector Deck do that?
Doable. Would you say?
Inspector Deck did something like that. I want to say like a couple years back.
Something like he did some of those. He did one of those things with some remix thing, and you had to buy an app. And I'm not talking about none of that app shit because that's some scam shit. I'm just talking about getting on.
Put it out there. Put it out there.
I need beats. Send me beats, and niggas are going to send you beats. They are going to send you beats that are probably better than beats that you would pay for from a well-known producer. Because this is our shot. This is our shot. You know what I mean? So it's like a job interview. You're going to put on your best suit for that job interview that you really want. Like Apple's hiring in their executive office, you're going to put on your Sunday best to go get that job. So if these MCs of this caliber, even though none of them are really relevant, like I'm not trying to disrespect, but nobody, like they're not like household names anymore. You know, producers are still gonna be like Corrupt. Yo, I love him. Like we're still gonna take that opportunity. So again, I just don't get it. I just don't understand how in the Lord's year of 2021, mofos are still making records with bad beats. I'm just dumbfounded at how that can happen. And some people say, well, they want to keep all the money. You wouldn't even have to pay. That's the other part about it. You wouldn't even have to pay.
Yeah.
So there's really no excuse for it. So I just don't get that. But tell me this: what is one album that you are looking forward to for the rest to come out this year? Would give me one album, Porsche. The one album you were looking forward to.
I literally got to dip in a minute, but the one album I'm looking forward to is the EPMD album that's supposed to come out.
EPMD has an album that's supposed to come out?
Word?
Supposed to. It's called Big Business. I'm not sure when. There's no date.
No idea.
But I'd like to see what they have in the top. I just want to know. I'm looking forward to it. Not like hype as in like, oh, it's going to be so dope, but looking forward to it as like.
Give me an album that you're hyped for. That you're like, yo,
I'm not.
You got nothing.
No, unless Pete Rock has something he's working on with whoever he wants to work with, or RJ Payne, or another Sky Zoo joint. Like, I got like any of those, but the ones that I see as upcoming, I got nothing.
Here's the thing: the one that I got is R&B. It's the Silk Sonic joint. With the Bruno Mars.
It ain't coming out. It ain't coming out.
I ain't hyped for it no more. Nope.
You not hyped for it? Why?
No, because I think it's stupid. I think we got the single in March. I'm like, the album should have been out by now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they playing games. I'm like, Bruno is normally, he brings out a single 2 months before the album comes out. He gives another single and done. Anderson wanted to throw the album out once they did it. So I'm like, we 4 months in, and then you go and y'all win a BET award, which I think is a little weird. But y'all win best group, and then you go up there and say the album's coming with no date. I'm over it now. Like,
well, here's the thing.
I'm just gonna take this time to say bye. I'm just gonna slip out.
No, push. We ain't getting at you. You ain't getting out that easy.
Sorry. On Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche. That's it. That's all I got.
Oh God! All right, baby. Next week.
Okay. Take care, guys. So good to see all of you. Bye.
Here's the thing, and I get you. I have no idea because I'm like, yo, the door, no pun intended, was right there, open for them to drop this. I mean, right there. The only thing is that I just feel like that song is perfect. I don't know if I've heard a perfect song like that in a while. I probably have, but I'm just off the top of my head. Like, it's just perfect. Everybody loves it. Everybody from little kids love it to adults love it. Everybody loved that song. I think those are two of the most creative people we got in the game right now. Whatever they've cooked up, whether the album is done, whether they're trying to do business behind the scenes, I don't know what record label it is. Maybe it's if the album is done, I'm trusting this album is going to be dope because I love Bruno shit. I love Pac shit. So that's the only thing that I'm hyped for if the album comes. That's what I got. Jared, what you got? What you hyped for?
Honestly, I don't know when they just bringing out singles. I'm waiting for the Shandellas to come. I'm waiting for them girls to come.
Shandellas?
They were signed. They was signed by Chuck Harmony and Corey Kelly. You know, they call themselves Louis York. And
they call themselves
like these
what?
Girls have brought
They call themselves what? I know that team because that's who did Pretty Girl Rock for Carrie Hilson.
Right, and they call themselves Louis York.
The newest York.
Louis
York.
Clark? Louis fuck are we talking? I'm sorry. They call themselves Louis Clark, the people who found
No.
Louis York.
York. Like New York. St. Louis and New York, something.
Yeah, right? Because Claude is from New York, and
Eddie, we Philly Brook. What the fuck? Come on, we gotta come up with better names. Now we got Whack. Now we got Whack.
You know what? They had you know what? That reminds. There was something. There was an album that came out years back called Brooklyn Natty. What group was it? Yeah, but they did that before.
We need to work with better names. We need Lewis and Clark. What they got for us?
No, Louis, y'all don't do that.
I know. But I'm gonna call them Lewis and Clark.
Fine. They put these three girls together, and they're dope. Like every song, they came out with 10 songs, and they all dope. Like
this is on Apple Music.
It's on all streaming platforms.
What are they called? The Shirelles?
The Shandellas.
We're not. I swear to God, I'm not trying to. Listen to what you just told me. Louis York. You didn't say that shit like it's just peppermint patty. Louis, this is not a normal word. Louis York. I thought you said Lewis and Clark. That's not far off. You said the Shirelles. I said the Shandells.
I did not say Sherelle. I said the Shandellas.
The Shandellas ain't that far from the what did I say?
You hear what you want to hear, because I did not say it.
Yo, when you say
Like,
the Temptation, when you say the Temptations, and I say who? Boys the Men, then that shit is funny. But if you say the Temptations,
because
and I say the Tempters,
everybody heard Louis York, but
what is the okay? I apologize. What is the name of the group?
The Shandellas.
The Shandellas.
Yes.
The Shandellas.
Yeah,
now, don't nobody else in the world think that sound like the Shandels or the Shirelles. It sound like something off of Motown.
Oh, I give you that, but I done said it like 3 times, so you ain't hear no shit.
I'm 47. I'm 47. I don't remember no more, man.
Whatever.
All right,
I'm waiting for them to come out with an album. Honestly, I'm waiting for them.
But they've had 10 singles out and never had an album. Okay.
But I was with you. I wanted that Silk Sonic because I'm hearing who they working with. I was good with it, but after
they working with
the fire, I'm done.
Who they working with?
They got Sly. He's on the intro. They got. He said it's very Earth, Wind, and Fire, Ohio players type of joint, and we know that's true because Anderson is that with his Free National. So
yeah,
right.
It's dope. Like, we know this is gonna be dope, but damn, give us the album already. It's gonna go #1. You're Bruno, and it's gonna happen. So I don't know what they waiting for, but I'm like, whatever with it. Like, whatever.
I'm just wondering if it is some label hoopla because
that's what I think. It's politics.
Pac is on a real label. Bruno is on a real label.
Right.
It'd be different if they was just SoundCloud.
They were both like Interscope.
Right, that you could just put out whatever you want. I'm sure both record companies want to eat off of that. I'm sure they're both at the table like, well, how are we going to split this? Who's going to be on what? So I would assume that there's probably some business, behind it. Vern, what you hype for?
I hate announcements. So just in the spirit of you asking a question, I think I've seen anybody from the foreign exchange camp, whatever, or King.
That's them girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my OG told me the best way to have a successful relationship, don't have expectations.
That's real.
I feel that. Real shit. I feel that. Eddie, what you got? What you waiting? What you waiting?
You on fire today?
To be honest,
he is.
Right, you are preaching today, bro.
I'm still stuck on her being Juneteenth.
Yeah,
both of y'all niggas need church. You need to be like her. We gave you Juneteenth and Rel with his. I listen to Nas, so J. Cole ain't on my head. Both of y'all came up with a slogan.
I'm gonna get a shirt made with that on it.
Yeah, for sure. For real.
Y'all both came up with slogans. Eddie, what you waiting for?
So it was an announcement I just saw recently. And Isaiah Rashad is dropping a new album this year at the end of the month. So, if you're not familiar, he's down with the TDE camp. So he's not the, he's not the sexy name from TDE. He's not like Kendrick or, Schoolboy Q, whatever, that everyone's, waiting for someone to drop an album. But Sylvia Demo and The Sun's Tirade, both very dope albums. It's been like 5 years, so I'm kind of like, I'm anticipating, but I don't know what to expect because, the way music has, especially hip hop has evolved, and he's a young artist. So who knows what kind of wave he's going to be on, but I'm going to definitely check it out.
All right, no doubt. Ro, what you waiting for?
I feel like I say this every time this subject comes up, anything close to it. Pusha T. I'm waiting for Pusha T to come out, man, and I don't know when it's coming out. Hopefully it's this year, but I know it's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If I was a betting man, I would bet it was gonna be fire. He never missed. Not yet. Yeah. I can't name a time where he's missed. I'm sorry. Yeah. I can't name a time where he's missed. So I'm highly anticipating
somebody sent me an article that like he live in Bethesda now.
Yeah. So yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he bought a house. He bought a house in Bethesda. He's in this area a lot. I don't know exactly why. I know it's a guy that I know that's like a what can I call this dude? His name's Dre DeMare. He's kind of just into everything in this area. He hangs with Pusha real heavy.
Okay.
So yeah, he does have a house in Bethesda. That is true.
Yeah, that Pusha with the Pusha Mad, because last time I heard it was a Pusha Madlib album, and I was like, that would be dope. But I'm still waiting for this Madlib Black Star album from like 2 years ago. So that's why I'm like, at this point, I'm just trying to at least grab onto the stuff that actually may come out. No doubt. JR, give them everything. Let them know where they can get at you. All the good stuff about the R&B reps.
Oh yeah, just go to the rnbreps.com. Get all our radio shows. Right now, we our producers on vacay, so we just having our shows, like old shows, on there. But y'all can go back to that. Our lives is on every other Tuesday on Instagram. Check us on JR's World of Soul or Naturally Elise. Our show Catch That comes on every Sunday at 2 p.m. Yeah, that's it.
All right, no doubt. Rel, where can I get at you, good brother?
Uptown J Ben on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter. I listen to Nas shirts coming soon. Yeah.
And Eddie, give him everything about you, bro.
All right, on Twitter at EddieD80, on Instagram Freestyles, and like I said, my website freestyles.com. You know what I mean? I'm writing about these independent artists. So two of the ones I named today, I wrote about on my site. But real quick, because I compartmentalize music and stuff, so I didn't have any EPs on my list. Because I'm thinking album. I didn't have that Pete Rock thing because I feel like it's a mixtape, so I don't have it. But I want to shout out 3 EPs real quick. The 7 album from Ransom, 7 tracks, really dope conceptually and stuff. Blue and Surplus for Sale, and Vegas and Kill, Will Matic.
Thank you.
All dope EPs. So
definitely, thank you. Vern, what you got, bro? Where can they get at you at?
On Twitter, it is VChandler10. On Instagram, V the Loan Closer.
All right, cool. Everybody knows Kill 889 for me. IG, Twitter, willmakebeatsfood.com. Me and Vegas' album is out. Vegas World Inc.Bandcamp. It's on all the streaming sites. All proceeds going to Ill Will's mother back in Queensbridge. Just want to take time to shout out 2 people. First up is my little sis. She was in the chat with us earlier today. That Blessed Girl. Is a producer, just produced the EP for my cousin Jamal Gasol out of Niagara Falls, New York. Health issues. You know what I mean? I'll just leave it at that. Liver transplant, liver is failing. The Cash App is, that Blessed Girl. So like that Blessed Girl, 1992. And I always tell people, send whatever God puts on your heart. Whatever you can. To me, nothing. To me, it's always I like to be like the past. Like we you could send money, you could retweet, you could just send up some prayers. So that way, nobody feels left out or nothing. Next, I gotta shout out my man. If you have listened to Brand Nubians, if you have listened to Sadat X enough, you have heard the name Mark the Spark. So he used to be the tour manager for Brand Nubian, Sadat, and all that. Was at his gig, got in, something happened, exploded. The machine he was working on exploded, 3rd to 4th degree burns. He's in the burn unit. He's going to be there for a while. The link in my Twitter bio, I've changed it from my website to his GoFundMe. So anybody watching can just go to my Twitter profile, click on it. Like I always say, if everybody who follows me, I'm almost at 12,000 followers, gives $1, we good money. So this is what I mean by you don't have to. If you, I ain't ask. I know money is tight. You ain't got to give $5. You could just give $1. Like and to me this is what hip hop is about, y'all. You know what I mean? To me, it's like this is the culture. This is what we do, dog. Naomi wanted McDonald's the other day. A Big Mac meal is damn near $10 now. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, hey, please, if you can give up a Big Mac meal for the day to help somebody, because here's the thing, y'all know, my past used to always tell me this. We all gonna be in this situation.
Yes. Everybody get a turn.
I'm not saying you're gonna be in the burn unit. I'm not gonna say your liver gonna fail. We all gonna be at a time when we gonna need some help.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I totally believe in pouring into people and sowing into people, not just on some so when I'm good when it comes back, that my character is just to pour into people. But even if you are that mentality of I don't care about nobody, but you know what, let me take care of somebody else. And then when it comes back around to me, however you it fits you, I'm just, asking, send some money, retweet it, send up some prayers. Vern, what you got, good brother?
Let me just say this to everybody that's listening. There's certain people. Kill is one. My man Asphalt Griot Bobby is another. Maceo. If they ever ask for something, I don't have to. I don't. What would you need? If they're asking, I'm giving. Kill has earned enough. You know what this man is about. You know what he's about. If he asks, it shouldn't even be no second thoughts about it. Whatever you got, give.
Yeah. And like I said again, this just happened at his job. Now he's out of work for the next 3 to 4 months. So again, when you're dealing with that, and again, with me and health issues, I understand it. You have to deal with the health issues, and then you're thinking, damn, who's paying the mortgage? Who's doing this? Like, who's doing that? Like, anybody who's ever been in a car accident, it's not like you get in a car accident on Friday, then you get a check cut for you on Monday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's time when in between that time and space, you need some money. So again, you ain't got to give whatever. I always tell people, whatever God lays on your heart. If it's and nothing's too little, give $1. You can give $1, that'd be great, or just retweet it. Sometimes I actually take a retweet over $20 because prayerfully your retweet may reach somebody else's stuff. So all that to say, prayers up for that blessed girl, prayers up for Marcus Smart. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.